Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apa khabar semua? Boleh dengar ya suara Dr. Har? Alhamdulillah. Pertama sekali nak ucapkan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ramadan Karim, Ramadan Sa'id, Ramadan Mubarak. Kita diizinkan Allah untuk melangkah masuk ke dalam Ramadan untuk tahun 1443 Hijrah ni. Ya. Dilihat kepada nombor tahun tu sendiri pun maknanya sudah 1000 tahun ya, 1400 tahun ya. Lebih ya. Kita semenjak daripada Rasulullah SAW itu menjalankan ibadat puasa ya di bulan Ramadan hinggalah ke hari ini, dan mudah-mudahan kita terus menjadi ibarat mata rantai itu kan kepada amalan kebaktian yang Rasulullah SAW telah ajarkan kepada para sahabat ya, baginda hinggalah sampai kepada kita ni, dan kita doakan semua orang ya yang bertanggungjawab. Okey. Assalamualaikum Syifa. Dr. Har buat intro ni. Alhamdulillah. Itulah nak ucapkan selamat Ramadan Karim ya kepada semua pelayar yang bersama kita. Dan juga Syifa daripada Cork tu dah puasa hari kedua ya, Dr. Har rasa. Okey. So kita baru nak habiskan satu hari inilah kan. Jadi Syifa dah mula dengan hari yang kedua, dan kita lalukan semua, dan selalunya kita ada ni pillow talk kan. So kali ni tim Akademi Dr. Har kata mari kita buat Qailulah punya talk. Sekiranya selalu tu kalau di Cork masih pukul berapa ni? Pukul 8
pukul
pagi.
8. 1 minute to go.
Okay, alright. Jadi baru nak start lah ya. Subuh masuk berapa Syifa di sana?
Hari ni pukul 5.11 pagi.
Okay, alright. Ya, so tu dah sama tu memang makin lama dia makin awal lah. Kan ya. Itu sebabnya kalau kita buat revision sikit ni kan Syifa, puasa tu kan adalah apabila kita menahan diri kita daripada perkara-perkara yang membatalkan puasa. Lah, makan, minum ya, bersetubuh seterusnya tu, daripada terbit matahari hinggalah terbenamnya fajar kan. Dan jadi terbenamnya matahari tu. Jadi kalau kita tengok kalau kita di Khatulistiwa ni memang 12 jam malam, 12 jam siang. Jadi tu yang mungkin kita rasa tak berapa berat lah kan. Tapi betul, kalau di hemisfer utara sekarang ni tengah sama. Dia punya subuh tu makin lama makin awal, dan malamnya makin lama makin lambat kan. Jadi yang Syifa punya track record puasa yang paling lama sekali berapa jam Syifa sepanjang di island tu lah?
2017 waktu tu baru datang. Sekarang kita dah makin 2017 tu kategori waktu ekstrim lah time tu. Sebab dekat island siangnya makan masa macam daripada subuh kan sampai ke maghrib tu dalam 18 jam. 18 ke 19 jam. So waktu tu kongsi sikit lah dengan Dr. Har. Lepas ada sesi dengan Ustaz Har Rizal. Ustaz Rizal Jamil. Lepas tu Ustaz Rizal barulah ada kemukakan sebenarnya ada 3 fiqah untuk berbuka kan. Kita pula dulu waktu 2017 tu lah tak baca buku sangat kan. Ya Allah, saya waktu tu confused sebab waktu tu balik Malaysia. Lepas tu dengan jet lagnya, dengan bila sampai ke island waktu yang amat panjang kan untuk kita berpuasa. Lepas tu sampai rumah waktu tu, sampai di island tu waktu tu dalam pukul 4 petang.
Masya Allah.
4 petang, tengah terik matahari, kita cakap tidurlah kejap. Tidurlah kejapnya, dia terlepas berbuka dan terlepas sahur. Sebab sahur dalam pukul 3 pagi macam tu kan.
Ya betul. Masa tu dah kelam kabut lah ya.
Ya Allah, macam apa aku buat ni?
Masya Allah. Yelah kan Dr. Han sendiri pernah ada conference di Malaga, Spain masa tu. Ya, bulan Ogos tahun berapa ya? 2009 agaknya. Dan tu memang waktu subuhnya tiga suku ke 3:30 pagi subuh. Dah maknanya dah tak boleh makan dah. Dan waktu maghribnya 9:45 rasanya. Dah dekat pukul 10 rasanya macam tu tahu ya. Itu memang panjang betul lah ya. Jadi Dr. Har ingat memang nak cubalah berpuasa. Jadi dah 3:30 tu kita dah sahur-sahur tu, solat subuh tidur. Lepas tu pergi conference pukul 8 start conference, balik conference pukul 5:30. Masa lunch tu Dr. Har ambil buah lah, and then the Middle Eastern participant kan ya, dia are you fasting sister, dia kata kan. So Dr. Har kata Dr. Har senyumnya kata, oh good for you, dia kata macam tu. And then Dr. Har balik by hotel, dah solat pukul 6 tu, dah buat apa ni ya? So, waktu maghribnya 9:45, lambat lagi kan. Ya Allah, sempatlah tidur berapa round, bangun belum lagi tu, rasa panjang betul lah kan. Jadi itulah mungkin kita di Malaysia ni kita ambil apa orang kata, kita ambil taken for granted je kan, dia 12 jam. So hari ni insyaAllah Syifa kita ambil sempena ni, mudah-mudahan dengan adanya perbincangan kita ni pun kita dapat pahala ekstra sikit lah daripada bulan-bulan lain kan. Sayang kalau kita kata Ramadan tak payah buat ni kita punya coffee pillow talk ni. So kita buat waktu pukul 3 sampai pukul 4 ni lah insyaAllah ya Syifa. Dan tajuk yang Syifa suggest pun sangat bagus ya. How to remain grounded on a straight path. Jadi bagaimana kita beristiqamah lah kiranya di atas jalan yang benar tu kan ya. Jadi so mungkin Dr. Han nak minta Syifa mungkin bagikan sikit latar belakang kenapa tajuk ni Syifa rasa perlu dibincangkan dalam bulan Ramadan, yang mana ini adalah usaha kita untuk remain on the straight path ni kan ya. Dan supaya kita keep grounded daripada hari pertama kedua ni sampailah ke hujung nanti momentumnya. Takut sekarang sempat 5 hari dah pencin, dah pancit dah kita kan ya. Sila Syifa.
Okey, terima kasih Dr. Ha. Sebab suggest lah untuk ada Qailulah Talk ni. Saya sebenarnya mata saya berpinar lah juga pagi tadi kan. Macam wow, paginya. Masa kena cakap kan. Alhamdulillah, tapi tak apa, kita cuba kongsikan. Dan untuk kawan-kawan pun, kalau ada soalan, any persoalan, terus kemukakan. Tapi personal reason kenapa Syifa decide untuk sembang dengan Dr. Ha tentang how to remain grounded on the straight path ni, sebab istiqomah tu adalah benda yang sangat sukar lah sebenarnya. Tambah lagi kesukaran ni berbeza setiap orang. Pertamanya, first kalau mereka ni adalah orang yang baru berhijrah. Baru berhijrah tu tak semestinya hijrah yang ekstrim. Mungkin ada nak tinggalkan sesuatu tabiat yang agak kurang baik kepada lebih baik. So it's very difficult kan untuk kita maintain the discipline of istiqomah tu. Yang secara tak langsung Syifa pun hadapilah benda tu. Dan yang kedua adalah kerana bila kita cakap pasal straight path ni adalah maksudnya adalah as-sirat al-mustaqim kan, dalam surah Al-Fatihah yang kita kerap baca. Kalau dalam waktu solat pun berapa, 17 kali kan kita baca surah Al-Fatihah. But dekat situlah saya rasa macam sebenarnya Syifa rasa macam there must be reason lah kenapa Allah perintahkan surah Al-Fatihah tu sendiri to be demanded in our rukun-rukun solat kita kan. So I think it's very important lah for us to know more from Dr. Ha ataupun untuk kawan-kawan yang ada kat sini kan, why Allah SWT ni perintahkan kita pula kan untuk seek help daripada Allah untuk mendapatkan petunjuk di jalan yang lurus, as-sirat al-mustaqim ni. Sedangkan nanti kita kupaskan lah kenapa sedangkan semua kan. So itulah the two reason.
Dr. Han suka tajuk yang Syifa propose ni sebab rasanya benda tu mungkin kita take for granted tau. Kita selalu rasa macam benda ni tak payah cakap lah, dah semua orang dah tahu kan macam tu. Tapi sangat perlu untuk kita macam ulang ulang bincang begini. Dan saat-saat macam ni lah yang selalunya kita akan pilih tajuk yang nak kata berat sangat pun tidak, nak kata ringan sangat pun tidak. Jadi supaya perbincangan kita ni tidaklah sia-sia saja kan, ya, tidak mengatur orang cerita pasal benda-benda yang mengatur orang memang berdosa lah, ya, atau benda-benda yang biasa saja yang dikategorikan sebagai lara. Yang tu yang nak kita kurangkan kan. Jadi oleh sebab tu biarlah perbincangan kita tu perbincangan yang akan menghasilkan kefahaman, kesedaran, ya, untuk kita boleh amalkan terus kan, Syifa. Jadi tajuk-tajuk macam ni kena diulang-ulang. Jadi mula mungkin ni dalam ni ada 2 part. Satu remain grounded, ya, istiqamah. Satu lagi istiqamah di mana, dalam berbuat apa? Dalam berada di atas jalan yang lurus tu, ya, straight path tu kan, siratal mustaqim kan. Mudah-mudahan apa yang kita tengah buat ni pun berpuasa, ya, dengan di bulan Ramadan, dengan segala amal-amal yang disarankan tu adalah usaha kita untuk berada di atas jalan yang lurus tu. Okay, jadi kalau dalam Al-Fatihah tu sendiri kan, rasanya kalau nak gali Al-Fatihah tu, Dr. Hari ingat buku pertama yang Dr. Hari baca dari konteks yang Islamik ni adalah buku Samudra Al-Fatihah yang ditulis oleh B. Arifin, penulis yang sangat profilik di seorang penulis Indonesia, yang dia mengupaskan setiap ayat-ayat itu kan, yang Dr. Hari ingat lah tu Dr. Hari baca masa form 2 ingat lagi kan. Tapi Dr. Hari rasa sebagai budak yang baru umur 14, ya, masuk 15 tu dah nampak isi kandungan tu sangat mudah untuk difaham, ya. Satunya kita memang kena faham Al-Fatihah tu untuk khusyuk dalam solat. Sebab itu yang diulang-ulang setiap, ya, menjadi rukun dalam setiap rakaat kita tu kan, ya. Jadi dan of course kita kena tahsinkan bahasa bacaan kita tu. Al-Fatihah kita tu tajwidnya, ya, dia punya makhrajnya semua betul kan. Tapi kalau kita lihat dari sudut konteksnya, Allah pertama sekali, ya, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim itu termasuk, ya, kebanyakannya mengatakan ulama mengatakan itu memang sebahagian daripada Fatihah tu sendiri kan. Jadi dan di situ nanti kita lihat Allah mengulangkan, ya, nama yang dia nak kita, ya, sebut itu adalah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, ya. Nama Allah itu Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim itu yang sangat, ya, dia suka kita ketahui, ya, dan supaya kita faham bahawa itu antara sifatnya yang paling dia nak kita hayati betul-betul kan. Dan of course, ya, ketika itu kalau tengokkan sebelum ihdinas siratal mustaqim tu, Allah sebenarnya kan, kita bacakan terus, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, Ar-Rahmanirrahim, Malik yaumiddin. Kan, jadi dahlah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim tadi sebut 2 kali, ya. Tapi kita memuji Allah pula, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Siapa dia Allah ni? Kita puji dia, Tuhan semesta sekalian alam ni kan. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Baik sekali lagi Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik yaumiddin. Dia ni, ya, adalah penguasa, ya, pemilik, raja, ya, pada hari pembalasan tu nanti, ya. Ada satu hari pengakhiran itu, ya. Jadi di situ kita ini dikatakan bahawa bahagian ini yang paling vulnerable kita ni. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ya, hanya kepada Engkau lah kami menyembah dan hanya kepada-Mu lah, ya Allah, kami mohon pertolongan. Ya, jadi kat situ dan dia sebenarnya satu pengisytiharan tauhid tu. Ya, maknanya kita tak sembah yang lain. Ni macam ni lah, ramai-ramai ni Dr. Han nampak syifa. Dengan ayat ramai-ramai ni syifa je yang Dr. Han nampak. Kan lain tu. Jadi kat situ kata tak ada sembah yang lain, melainkan Allah ni saja satu, tak ada yang lain. Dan bukan saja kita sembah, tapi kita juga hanya mengharap pertolongan, bantuan, ya, perlindungan segala-galanya daripada Allah ini saja kan. So ini sebenarnya adalah tahap di mana kita manusia patut merasa sangat-sangat tak berdaya, sangat-sangat vulnerable, ya, sangat-sangat tak ada langsung upaya. Ya, nak orang kata nak keluarkan sepatah perkataan ni pun, ya, koordinasinya daripada bahagian broca di bahagian otak tu, ni kalau neuroscience sikit, ya, nak gerakkan kita punya lidah, ya, suara daripada dalam perut ni, ya, dalam paru-paru yang nak naik, lepas tu kita punya vocal cord dia nak move kan, ya, supaya Dr. Han boleh articulate kan, ya, perkataan yang Syifa boleh faham. Sambil tu Dr. Har dekat otak ni dah buat dah ni Dr. Har nak cakap apa. Jadi mulut terus bercakap. Kemudian dalam bahasa yang Syifa boleh faham. Dr. Har tak boleh cakap Jawa sebab Syifa tak boleh faham Jawa. Kan kalau Dr. Har cakap jadi tak faham pula. Tapi Syifa pula dengan Dr. Har, Syifa decode balik benda tu. Dan akhirnya kita memahaminya. Jadi itu pun saja dah kalau tidak ada Allah yang memudahkan semua ni tak mampu langsung. Okey. Kemudian kita kata ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Kan tadi kita kata kita sangat vulnerable, kita abdi pada Allah dan kita hanya pada Allah kita mohon pertolongan. First kali yang kita minta tolong, tunjukkan kepadaku ya Allah jalan yang lurus. Sebab itulah yang the bottom line. Itu asal usul segala-galanya. Kalau daripada awal ni jalan kita dah tak lurus, maknanya kita tak bolehlah sampai ke destinasi. Jadi maknanya sebelum apa-apa lagi kita boleh kata okey saya nak buat yang ni, nak ni. Jalan ni dah lurus ke belum? Tu tak apa, tu nombor 2. Tak, dia kena jalan tu kena lurus dulu barulah kita melangkah. Jadi oleh sebab tu selepas kita mengakui Allah itulah satu-satunya Tuhan yang kita menjadi abdi, kita abdikan diri kita, tak ada kita nak abdikan kepada orang lain, kepada diri kita sendiri, kepada harta, kepada pangkat, tak ada. Kemudian kita mohon pertolongan kepada Allah sebab kita tak, Allah saja yang mampu memberikan pertolongannya. Pertama sekali kita minta Allah tunjukkan ke jalan yang lurus ni. Okey. Jalan yang lurus tu pula Dr. Har mungkin tak ingatlah, saya dah banyak sangat cakap ni kan Syifa kan tak tahu dah cakap dengan siapa, tapi kalau kata kita nak menerangkan sesuatu, kita akan terangkan apa benda tu dan kalau kita nak emphasize lagi, kita terangkan apa yang bukan benda tu. Contohlah kan kalau Dr. Har ni, kalau nak tahu Dr. Har, dia mungkin dari sudut perwatakannya Dr. Har ni dia ni plus size contohnya. Tapi kalau jumpa yang kurus tu bukan, itu bukan Dr. Har. Jadi dia explain begitu Di dalam ni pun bila kita kata dalam Fatihah ni ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghairil maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Jalan yang Allah beri nikmat ni, jalan yang lurus ni serupanya adalah jalan yang Allah berikan nikmat padanya. Itu description dia tau. Dan apa yang bukan jalan orang-orang yang Allah murkai dan bukan jalan orang-orang yang sesat. Jadinya description straight path ni atau siratal mustaqim ni satu jalan yang mana Allah bagi nikmat kat dia. Tak lama juga ponder tahu kata alangkah itulah Allah itu maha segala-galanya. Punya cantik Allah describe siratal mustaqim ni. Iaitu jalan yang Allah bagi nikmat ke dalam kepada kita tu dengan jalan tu. Jadi jalan tu mungkin tak tahulah Intan, Syifa rasa jalan tu lurus saja ke macam tu. Macam yang katalah kalau dekat Saudi tu kan lurus saja. Kalau jalan dekat kalau jalan dekat yang berbukit tu dengan berbelok-belok tu bukan siratal mustaqim ke? Jadi Dr. Har rasa jalan tu apa sajalah nature dia. It can be straight, it can be bend, it can be macam kata orang kata jalan siku lipat, Yang ini yang macam the hairpin bend dia orang panggil kan. Dia macam tu. Memang betul-betul lipat tu kan. Ataupun dia mungkin jalan yang menaik atau jalan yang menurun. Kan? It can be uphill, it can be going downhill. Ada juga mungkin jalan yang okeylah dari sudut permukaan dia yang licin. Atau yang mungkin tar. Atau mungkin jalan dirt saja kan Tapi apa pun bentuk jalan tu, kalau jalan itu akan membawa kita kepada Allah, itulah jalan yang lurus. Dan jalan itulah yang dikatakan jalan yang Allah berikan nikmat. Dan tentu sekali jalan yang lurus ini bukan jalan yang Allah Allah murkai orang yang jalan yang Allah tak suka. Dan jalan yang memang sesat. Maksud dia jalan yang tidak akan membawa kita kepada destinasi kita. Jalan tu dia sampai ke rumah Dr. Har. Tapi kalau misalnya Syifa ikut jalan Dr. Har tu, Syifa sesat. Syifa tak pergi rumah Syifa. Rumah Syifa ikut jalan lain. Jadi satu jalan yang mungkin jalan yang betul untuk kita adalah jalan yang sebenarnya ya, kalau orang lain dia ikut jalan kita tu mungkin dia sesat. jadi Dr. Han rasa kan tak ada yang lebih apa orang kata signifikan ya di dalam Al-Fatihah ni adalah ianya sangat personalized. Dia kan macam sekarang Dr. Han kalau mengajar, kita kena tengok the learners. Kan Rasulullah sendiri ajar kita nak bercakap, nak menerangkan sesuatu, tengok tahap student kita tu, tahap orang yang kita nak bincang ni. Cakap dengan Syifa, Dr. boleh cakap at this level sebab Dr. tahu Syifa ada keupayaan tu. Tapi kalau Dr. nak terangkan tajuk ni kepada yang mungkin ya tahap pencapaian intelektual dia mungkin tidak setinggi ni, jadi Dr. kena bawa rendah sikit. Begitulah. Jadi maknanya it is personalized. Untuk perubatan pun sekarang ni kita semua menuju kepada personalized medical care. Mana diabetik ni dalam 10 orang yang Dr. tengok pagi tu, dia adalah 10 pesakit diabetik yang berbeza. Dr. tak boleh bagi ubat yang sama saja. One size fit all tu. Tapi sebenarnya Allah telah menunjukkan ya bagaimana setiap orang itu ada jalan dia sendiri. Tetapi jalan itulah jalan Siratul Mustaqim. Ya, sekiranya jalan itu jalan yang akan membawa kita kepada Allah dan itulah jalan yang penuh nikmat. Okey. Masih lagi dengan Siratul Mustaqim. Kalau kita bayangkan dia bukan jalan yang lurus, ya, maka dia ada jalan yang bersimpang. Nanti kita sampai pada T-junction. Kemudian ataupun kita mungkin pergi kepada yang simpang 4. Kan? Ataupun kita sampai pula kepada yang jalan yang mencapah 2 gitu. Kan? Tu kalau ikut kita punya Waze ataupun kita punya ni GPS dia akan kata stay right at the fork, dia kata. So kita tahu ke kanan je lah kan. Atau satu lagi roundabout. Roundabout. Kalau di UK, di Ireland ni banyaklah roundabout kan. Dan roundabout tu katalah ada 7 exit atau 5 exit. Kan? Exit yang mana yang kita nak ambil ni daripada 7 atau 5 tu. Jadi kan bila kita mengatakan ihdinas siratal mustaqim, kita mohon Allah ya memberikan kita petunjuk bila sampai T-junction nak ke kanan ke kiri ni. Okey, kalau nak sampai kat simpang 4 tadi tu nak terus ke atau nak ke kanan ke kiri ni? Jalan yang mana ni yang akan ya Allah berikan nikmat iaitu sampai kepada keridaannya tu ya? Atau dalam jalan yang bifurcate tadi tu, yang mencapah tadi tu, nak ikut yang mana? Yang cabang kanan ke cabang kiri? Ya, ataupun kita tengok dalam konteks roundabout tadi, kita nak ambil exit yang pertama ke atau kita ambil exit yang ketujuh gitu. Ya, jadi itulah yang kita mohon dalam doa kita supaya Allah berikan kita ya petunjuk ini. Ya, tunjukkan jalan yang mana nak ambil. Dan kalau misalnya katalah kita tersilap ambil simpang. Patutnya ke kanan, kita ke kiri. Patutnya kita terus, kita masuk kiri. Patutnya kita dekat cabang tu kita ke kanan, kita ke kiri. Contohnya lah ya. Roundabout tadi kita salah ambil exit. Mudah-mudahan ya kita diberi petunjuk oleh Allah untuk U-turn. Ya, untuk kita balik-balik. Ya, supaya kita boleh mencari ya destinasi kita punya jalan yang betul tadi tu. Okay, so sekarang itu dalam part yang Data rasa untuk terangkan Siratul Mustaqim tu. Dia ni bukan jalan-jalan biasa ya. Sangat betul Syifa kata. Mesti ada sesuatu tentang Siratul Mustaqim ni kerana Allah letakkannya di dalam surah Al-Fatihah dan surah Al-Fatihah adalah rukun dalam salat. Okay. So Dr. belum sentuh yang how to remain grounded tu. Masih lagi dari Siratul Mustaqim tu. Okay, Syifa silakan.
Okay. Alright, terima kasih Dr. terangkan dekat kita semua. It's so refreshing because kita ni semua macam Syifa rasa lah sebab kita semua kat sini mostly memang lahir beragama Islam kan. So bila kita dah kerap baca Al-Fatihah, kadang-kadang kita tak faham pun sebenarnya kenapa kita baca dan apa maksud, kenapa urgency tu perlu ada bila kita recite Al-Fatihah dan minta petunjuk Allah SWT untuk luruskan kita ke jalan, untuk beri kita petunjuk di jalan yang lurus macam tu. But I can see that there are some of my friends yang Alhamdulillah ada yang join juga nampak kat sini yang they are actually reverting Muslim, kiranya dulu agama lain dan masuk ke agama Islam. And I believe that the topic about, tengok saya dah cakap campur dah.
Tak apa.
Tak tahu target
You want me
audience.
to speak in English? I think we just go on.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think
alright.
yeah, can do. But for untuk sesiapa yang tak memahami ke apa-apa, boleh je tanya kan dekat sini. So when we're talking about stay grounded on the straight path, what do you think, Dr. Ha, about because I have read that the first thing, for example, during the story of Adam and Hawa, Adam and Eve, because you know Adam is the first human in this world that Allah have created, kan?
Yeah.
But why in that sense, why did Allah have like touch Adam's heart to do wrong things, and then like Adam decided to do the wrong things, and then he asked for forgiveness? Like for me, I do believe that even for Adam and Hawa to ask for forgiveness, there must be a guidance from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, right? So yeah, and I have read somewhere that there is correlations between asking forgiveness from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala and to remain grounded on the straight path as well. So perhaps, yeah.
Okay. I think I wasn't actually expecting you to go right, you know, to the day of Adam and Eve now. But I guess that's a good start to discuss on this. Okay, let's talk about, you know, that event where Allah has created Nabi Adam alayhi salam, yeah. And of course, at the same time, we know that right from the start, we actually have an enemy, okay? And it is Iblis, yeah, Syaitan La'natullahu, who had been sort of, you know, wondering, what is this creature that Allah is going to create, yeah? And the fact that this human being, yeah, of course, started with Adam, has this component of, you know, Allah has inspired human being to do good, and at the same time, okay, it's always the good versus the bad. Okay, so and of course, what is interesting about Adam is that, which is definitely what is interesting about us as well. It seems that it's human nature when you have been given everything and you are only sort of forbidden to, you know, you are being forbid, you are not being given the permission to do one thing, just one thing. You know, actually Allah forbids Adam alayhi salam to just on this one particular tree of all the trees in Jannah, but I think it's just human nature that the one that somebody say no, you really have this you know, this temptation to just try that. All right, but of course, if you really go into it, was actually thanks and no thanks to Shaitan, yeah, who decided to advise Adam and Eve that the main reason why you are not allowed to be to eat this fruit or from this tree is that you will become, you know, one of the angel and you will live forever. So for human being, that is just too tempting, you know, not to try that. And of course, when you know, Shaitan said at the end of that, well, I'm just advising you. Nasihin, I'm just advising you. So yeah, and then of course, as human being, we are easily sort of lured, yeah, and tempted towards all that. But then, of course, after Adam and Hawa and Eve actually did that transgression, yeah. But Allah is also the one who taught them how to ask for forgiveness. Yeah, Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. I just read that verse last night. You know, I happened to be reading in that, you know, within that juzu, and so that is actually how Adam and Eve responded towards, you know, transgressions of Allah's rules and order. That is to ask for forgiveness, and in fact, that is the test. And Adam and Eve, have actually passed the test. And that is when Allah sent them down to this earth, on this planet. And of course with Iblis as well. Yeah. So and that is the struggle that we are going to have throughout our life. Yeah. We keep on doing wrong thing and we realize that and we ask for Allah's forgiveness. And hence it's a struggle to remain on the straight path. Yeah, because, well, you see, there is, imagine you have the opportunity to just do one thing throughout your whole life, and you are still alive from that day until now. That is only to make sure, of course, as our enemy, to sort of sway us from the right path. Yeah, just to deviate us from that. That's all that, the task and the job spec of this Iblis, La'natullah. Okay, so I think the fact that we are talking about straight path is that even from the start, we can actually starting off, on the wrong footing. And hence, the longer you are in that path, which is not straight path that will bring you to Allah, you'll get further and further away from Allah.
Thank you, Dr. Ha. Yeah, I think that's a real thing because as we can see from the Sirah, from the story of prophets as well, regardless their level of taqwa or their, I would say their distance from themselves to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, they have these stories of making mistakes. And I do believe that regardless whoever we are, either we are born with Islam or we just revert to Islam, even though after reverting to Islam, we tend to do all the mistakes that we might used to do it. But I do believe that seeking taubat or forgiveness from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is actually a way for us to be closer to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and it's actually a form of guidance that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala give to us, because if we are not being guided from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, we should not or we will never happen to ask forgiveness from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Okay, so but there are some days that we feelings like, okay, here comes the grounded part. There are some days we feels like giving up, or we kind of burn out from disciplining ourselves to be istiqamah in this path. Because at the first place, when we talk about Sirat al-Mustaqim, it is not an easy journey, even though we're saying that it is a straight path, right? It is a straight path, but it might be like full of challenges, and different people's interpretation of straight path might be different. Like, for example, Dr. Ha might be very easy for Dr. Ha because of the surrounding, that will supporting you to remain on the straight path is strong. But there are some people are facing very hard time to remain grounded in this straight path. So could you please give your thoughts about this, like if you have any tips about how to remain grounded on this straight path and to avoid us to feel burnt out or giving up while staying grounded. Yeah.
Okay, this is where I think we have to I would just outline three main things. Yeah. First, we have to be very convinced about this straight path being straight, and it's actually where you should be. Okay, and there is no other option, I would say. you just made up your mind that this is the only path. Okay. Well, I guess that is a bit problematic for those people who might find it very difficult to stick to one thing. Some of us really want to try everything, and for whatever reason, and when you say no, just this one path, wow, that would be really a no. Okay, so then you really have to sort of convince ourselves. And how do you do that? Okay, this is definitely by getting to know more about this straight path. Okay, what is this path that Allah has said you follow this, and this is actually the straight path that will lead you to me. Yeah. So of course, where do we get this guidance? It is actually from the Quran and from the teaching of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So I think it's just an empty kind of it is actually a waste of time when you say, yeah, I want to be on the straight path, but you don't even make an effort to sort of understand the Quran, yeah, or maybe from understanding the Quran, then of course you want to see how Rasulullah SAW practice all those values that's been preached has been laid down by the Quran. So and instead, if you maybe look out for any other guidance, then that's definitely very paradoxical. You wouldn't be on the right path. Yeah. So that is one thing. Be convinced. And how do we convince with that? Of course, we have to know more about it. And of course, we need to learn from those who are more learned. Yeah. Because you see, if you are sort of just learning from books or, without having somebody who can really, explain things, then of course, Shaitan is the one who's going to be there and teach you. And before long, you know that what you think is straight path, the straight path is definitely not. Yeah. So that is one. So, and I think this is another thing. You have to be consistent with this. You cannot say that, oh, I already gotten my degree in, Islamic studies. I know everything about it. No, I don't have to learn anymore. No, yeah, because there is always, our iman is always either going up and down, up and down. It's like a roller coaster. And it is actually during the down moment that suddenly you feel burnt out. Okay. So this is where you have the challenge, as you said, Shifa, for us to remain grounded. Secondly, after, you actually understand and convince, of course, you have to always be on the lookout in terms of priority that you put on this. Sometimes you are just too busy, kan, Shifa? You just say, this is a bit too heavy for me. I'll put it aside. Okay, and then you will start focusing on other things, and then you get sort of caught up there, and you will leave this, and that is really a big mistake. So, of course, when you start to, having this intention of I want to be on the right path, you would realize that those things that you have done, which is really not the right path, is now going to be your conflict. Okay. Yeah. And this is the time when you have to decide whether you want to stay on with whatever that you have done before, which is definitely not the right path, or you want to sort of, if you want to go back to that, then definitely you're not going to be successful in this venture. But if you say no, I want to be on the right path now, so you have to be sincerely, okay, and genuinely determined to let go of those things that clearly, obviously, not the right path. And I think, Shifa, this is the most difficult part, because most of us will say, I want to be, on the right path. But when they actually start to be there and they realize they need to leave behind those things that they used to do and they enjoy doing, that is the one that will sort of prevent you from being grounded. You will go on going back to that. Okay. So, wow, this is to me the most challenging. Yeah. And the third one would be, I don't think we can do this alone. Yeah. Definitely we need, as you said, I might be okay with it because my surrounding, okay, maybe my upbringing, and the person I got married to has the same priority. Okay, what if you are the only one, most probably, around you, and there's nobody else who actually, have gone through this process? So definitely you wouldn't get that support. So this is when you have to find people who can actually support you when you are at your lowest, and that, of course, we are stronger when we are in numbers as compared to when we are alone. So I think that three very simple tips, Shifa, is the way to go. don't just push yourself to be like, you know, overnight, you know, changing, you know, 180 degree. I believe that something that changed so drastically will also revert back, you know, in no time. So it has to be slowly. Why does it has to be slowly? You need to persuade your heart. Like, no, this is actually the right path. And then, you know, that small voice inside, you say, nah, I don't think this is for me. This is too boring. I said, well, I guess let's now define what is boredom and what is excitement. You know? So you have to have that conversation all the time until one day, yeah, you will see that, yeah, you just become your new habit now. And then you can istiqamah. Allahu alam, Shifa. I don't know whether that's exactly. I don't know. Is there any questions so far?
Yeah, as usual, on my Instagram, it's kind of freeze. I cannot see anything.
On my part, I think there's no question yet.
Okay. Okay, kawan-kawan, to friends out there, if you have any questions, you can just pop out your question. Don't feel a bit of shy or think that your question is unnecessary, because
there is no stupid questions,
no stupid
only
question
stupid
at all.
answers.
Yeah. Anything, if it's related to your, you know, maybe it's not related with the topics that we discussed today, you can just ask straight away, and we can maybe discuss or have Dr. Ha to give her opinion. Okay, meanwhile, let's go to the next questions. Dr. Ha, okay, we discussed about the tips as well. Like Dr. Ha mentions, there are personally 3 tips that, which is, I found it, it is somehow the roof of every other tips that we decided to choose, right? Because, for example, the first one, to seek knowledge and to be convinced about the straight path. Without having that, we are not, like, the other things about seeking knowledge and be convinced is about reading books, to join classes, to find a teacher, right? And so when we talk all about the tips as well, but maybe personally, I would say, in my situations, like, there are a relapse situation, you know. Like, yeah.
Remission and relapse, is it? You're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
kind of disease? Okay.
Yeah. So I would say maybe some of people, like, yeah, I think we can call it like a relapse situations, like relapse of being a sinister, for example. Like, before this, you know that straight path is that is the one that we should follow, we should obey Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. But then there are always things that will come to us, and you know, again, we decided to, okay, why not, let's just be back to the old us. And you know, it's very tiring. So yeah, I think the words here is tiring. Like it is the same question, but I think maybe Dr. Ha can enhance more about how to avoid tiring while remain grounded, other than support system. Because I would say that now it is not that easy as well to find support system, especially during the pandemic and everything. You are not really connecting with people, you're not peoples and everything. So to at least to avoid us from the relapse situations, or to feel burnt out and giving up about the religion or the hidayah that we already received. Because there are some situations that I read this a lot as well, a real situation which maybe you know, they find Islam is very convincing at the first place, but there are tests upon tests happen to them, which makes them think again, like, is this the right religion, you know? So could you please share again with us, yeah, specifically for not burning out?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, okay. I guess for far too long we are always sort of our perceptions to regarding this straight path, it is boring, it is long, it is everything which is negative is there. All the adjective is all about all the negative thing that the more you think about it, you feel heavy, yeah. But that contradict to Al-Fatiha by itself. Ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal lazina an'amta alayhim. The path is something that will sort of give you this ni'mat. This you will feel of course everything positive about it. Okay, but then how come that the more you want, as you say in the beginning, it sounds like that, it feels like that, but then later on it become, I guess the excitement is no longer there. And just like when you are new to things, yeah, you just bought your new computer or your new handphone, your new car, then you feel very excited about it. But later on you feel bored about it, yeah, and hence, you see, boredom is actually to me a red flag, and that means you're if you well, I do not know whether this is connected or not, but I always have this idea about blue ocean and red ocean. The blue ocean, the deep blue ocean is when things nobody is there yet, and you would be trying it the first time, and you don't even know how it feels like. So, and that is actually things that excite me and all the people who like pioneering. We don't wait for other people to go first and then we go. So people like me need a lot of excitement, and we always have that this 5 years each. We do not do the same thing, the same way. The most is only 5 years, and then you will start going for something else. I think that's also, something about our status of connection between us and anything else, especially with something which is ghaib, which is not seen, the unseen. Okay, and of course, you feel that the reward is so far away when I die, and I don't want to die now. Okay, so and then it is, you don't see Allah, you don't see the reward. You don't. So in the beginning, maybe you feel like this is different because as compared to things that you can see whole and you can smell, but then later on maybe you're asking, so what's next? And this is actually the time where you have to move on, to get new excitement, new understanding about it. This is the time where we relearn, unlearn, and learn new things. Yeah, and that is so. So you have to keep on paddling, Shifa. Just like when you're on your cycle, yeah, on your bicycle, you have to keep on cycling. Otherwise, you wouldn't go forward. Okay, so inshallah, in the very beginning, this is where the shaitan is very strong. They will always put you, so what? 5 times a day praying? You mean to say, doing this 5 times a day? There are so many other things you can do. Then you start to feel, oh, this is not important, other things is important. Then before then out of 5/5, salat every day, it becomes just maybe 3/5. And then later on, it's just 1/5. And then later on, 0/5. So as much as you will sort of degrade, in terms of your quality of ibadah, you have to actually keep on cycling so that you can actually go higher and higher. So let's say you salat, before this you do not have your, rawatib, qabliyah, ba'diyah, the prayer before and after the compulsory prayer, then you add on to it. So maybe you do it, maybe for, let's say you have not done that yet. It's just 5 times. Okay, now maybe subuh, it's just 2 rakaat. It's hardly about 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe you can add 2 rakaat before that and another, the 2 compulsory. And that's all for the day. And you'll do that maybe for a month. And then you start to feel it is a part of you. Then, okay, I'm now going to do qabliyah before Zuhur, 2 rakaat. And then, of course, the subuh is still there, and then you add on. And finally, you know, when you, that might be over 6 months or over a year, but you will soon have this habit of subuh, zohor, asar. They are all now, you know, with its, rawatib. You know, it's either qabliyah or ba'diyah. So that is actually how you make it a habit. Okay, you don't like, okay, today I want to have it all, and then okay, then every prayer you have all your ba'diyah qabliyah, yeah, prayer, and then suddenly that's it. I'm tired. Okay, I cannot sustain this. Okay, because that is all human nature. To feel tired, to feel burnt out, to feel that I want to do something else. Okay, so I guess you know yourself better. I do not know how you actually start a habit. Yeah, but I guess we can do it frequently or almost every day for about maybe a week or two. Then it become your habit. You know, I was reading. It was what, 2 weeks. They say if you can do things 2 weeks without fail, then you can actually, that can stick. Okay. This is also what I told my patient who is so, you know, non-compliance to medication. So I said, okay, when is the most feasible time for you to take your medication? Because she has to take it daily. So I will be able to take it if I can take it with my breakfast. I never miss breakfast. So okay, then, you know, you must make sure that your medication container is just next to your table, yeah, where you can see it and have it, yeah, for breakfast. And then you will see that the habit of, you know, taking those daily is going to stick. So much so that when you don't take it, there's something like, hey, what did I miss? Because your body has sort of customized to it. Yeah. So I think that is also something that we need to know and use our physiological way of doing things. Yeah, Shifa.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Ha, thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's don't look at other people's, right, Dr. Ha? Because when Dr. Ha say that you know your level, so you, I mean, like for me, I would prefer that you don't go too drastic. Because if you think that you can handle it, then you can go for it. But you know, when you go to drastic, it's just the same things that when you perform extremely good in something, people will expect you to maintain the result. So you know, there's no buddies in this. When you try to be a good Muslim, you're not trying to actually please anybody else. It's just that between you and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, right? So
that is spot on to me. I guess things becoming very difficult to maintain once you are doing it for other people or for other reason. Okay, but if you starting off Siratul Mustaqim, you know, you are actually, you know, the intention, the niyat is solid. Yeah, just to, you know, to improve yourself. I'm not saying that there would not be challenges, but at least, you know, you can always remind yourself that you're not doing this for other people, you're doing this for Allah. But if you start off by wanting to compete with somebody else, for instance, then you get tired. Okay, what you said about we don't look at other people, well, I would put it this way: you can actually see people who are doing it better than you, so that you can have motivation. If Shifa can do that, I'm sure I can do it as well, you know, something like that. Because you need this kind of need. It's just that you do not sort of change overnight just to be that person. Okay, and don't make imitating that person as your ultimate goal. It's because that is so unsustainable. Okay, that's the easiest recipe for not being grounded, I would say.
Okay, yeah, the easiest way for not being grounded, totally opposite. So okay, so as far I see that people keep joining. We are actually talking about how to remain grounded on the straight path. So if you have any question related to straight path or like any other question, just keep coming with all the questions at the chat box. And for now, I think after a few answers given by Dr. Ha, I would say that staying on the straight path is actually well, it is a noun, but it is not just noun, but it also comes with the verbs that, when you are requesting people, it's not just that you hope that things will come to you. You still need to speak, which is a verb. You still need to work on it. And the same it goes when we are actually seeking help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot say that, Allah is the greatest, so why not he just like lead me to it, like bring me to it. No, you can't do that, because this religion is not,
it's not a passive religion, I'm saying.
Yeah, not a passive religion. Yeah.
That's interesting, Shifa. I mean, yeah, maybe some of us saying that, especially for those people, when you are saying that, maybe you should do, these good things, and that, no, God has not, give me that strength to do it. So that's why I'm not doing it. So the blame goes back to Allah, ya. Tak sampai seru lagi, kan? So, and that is if you think that this religion is a very passive religion, and we are just here, well, since God owns everything, so, well, if I'm bad, it's because He just allow me to go, not on the path that just lead me astray. Now, if He wants me to on the right path, He would have given me hidayah. Wow. To me, Shifa, that statement is possible if you don't understand, the empowerment that Allah has given us. We are actually here being empowered with, this faculty of thinking that Allah has given us, so that we would actually choose voluntarily to submit to Him. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the power to just say, all of you, just worship me. And then that's it. We would not be worshipping other, just like the malaika or the angel, yeah?
Yeah.
But for human being, Allah says, well, you see, I want you to worship me when you are really convinced. So when you are really using your intellectual capacity, so finally you come to a conclusion that, hey, look, this world, me, and then everything inside this definitely has this great organizing designer. And this is when you start to believe of the existential, the existence of God. Okay? But for us Muslim, we have been told that entity called God is actually with this character, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, As-Samad. Those 99 names is just, just a very few names, in a group of few names. There are so many others. But even with that, this is actually the definition, or how we define, and how does, God means to us. Okay? And while people might be thinking that, well, why is this God, so cruel? That there are people who are, having war, and the Palestinian, plight. Well, if God wants them to win, they can win. So why don't we just leave it to God? Well, this is, of course, understanding it, to me, half cooked. Not really, understanding that this is now where Allah will see how many of us among all these, human beings, who actually declared and decided that they are convinced that Allah is the only, the only creator, La ilaha illallah, and how much this person actually convinced that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger, so that whatever that, Allah has taught us through the Quran, we really have to believe Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in order to see how the Quran is being practiced. So that is actually the deal. Okay, that is the deal. Okay, so definitely Islam is not a passive religion. All right, and we have to take full responsibility of what we have sort of decided. Inshallah, Shifa. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ha. Okay,
Right.
audience, if you have any question, pop out your question because we are having like a few minutes left. We cannot make it longer because in Malaysia, you guys need to prepare for your breakfast untuk buka puasa.
Okay.
One last question from me, Dr. Ha.
Right.
We've been talking about the struggles within ourselves to remain grounded on the straight path. But what do you have any suggestion? What are the ways that maybe we can use to approach our beloved family or friends about to be on the straight path, you know? Because for me, maybe as we like mix around with people's there are, you can see that you know, when you understand something, it doesn't mean that you are greater than others, but we know that, oh, that is wrong. We know how to classify things wrong and the wrong things and the things
right
that
thing.
is the right things, but how to approach them to so that they are not being astray, other than like keep giving your doa silently, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Again, I said that this religion is not a passive religion. I'm not saying that when you pray for your sahabat or your family, you know, so that they will be on the right path, it's a passive thing, no. In fact, it's best to actually pray for somebody without him or her knowing, because Allah, Rasulullah said that, you know, the malaikat will actually, the angel will actually pray exactly the same for you, okay? So that is number one. You don't go on. If you, during this Ramadan, you want to double or triple that, that's good. Okay, especially if these are people who are so important and so close to us, like your own parents or your, you know, your spouse or maybe your siblings, yeah. And so go on. Okay, this is really the amount for dua, yeah. But then at the same time, we might have to manifest our love and care to that person. Don't just be silent about it. If you have an opportunity, you know, send him or her the text, just to convey how much you sincerely and genuinely care for that person. And that's so powerful, you know. Of course, now when they might be up and about, they might not need you. But wait until, you know, they stumble. The first person that person will remember is you. Okay, so that is actually, you know, the time when they were most vulnerable. And this is, to me, when the person trusts you, especially in the moment of, you know, of hardship. This is actually the time for you to say, you see, most probably you want to change your lifestyle and something like that. You're like, okay. I found out that when I pray every day, that is like, you know, my pit stop in that very chaotic day. So at least in the morning, I take all my, you know, my supplies, and then I might, you know, just like the handphone, my battery might be just maybe around 40%. Then I recharge that, and that would be, you know, making it simple. But if you are really the one who's been praying for that person, you genuinely love that person, you know, with no other interest. Okay, and when these people come to you during this time of turmoil and hardship, they are actually they are you know, most vulnerable stage where you can actually help. So this might be the time where you can say, okay, let's pray with me. Okay, oh, I have not been praying for a very long time. It's okay, you know, I'll be your imam and you're just me, and make that very special. You don't really have to tell everybody, you know, and okay, maybe that person. But don't expect that person will revert 180 degree overnight pula. Shifa? So to me, we're just human being, okay? We all need unconditional love. Okay, I think I would like to wrap this thing up, Shifa, because we are ending up with, you know, how do we help other people who are now seems to be living a very difficult life, yeah, away from the straight path, kan? One thing, be grateful to Allah that these are, somebody that you know, and that person know you as well. Okay, so that's an opportunity. Okay, this is the time where it's okay if sometimes then these people will come to you when they are in trouble, but completely forgotten about you when they are happy. So to me, I don't mind being, kawan menangis ni ha. Daripada kawan ketawa. For you to have friends who can laugh with you, there are just so many. But when you are crying, you realize that you can only trust one or two person. And if that person is you, then inshallah, that's an opportunity for you to sort of, I would say, just persuade the person to reconsider. Okay, maybe it's not really, life is so difficult for him or her because and then he or she has been so far away from the straight path. Kan Sifat, most of the time these people will come to you because they see that you are so steadfast, you are so grounded, and they want to at least cling to you so that they at least have some ground as well to stand on. So I hope, if that is actually, the reason why your friends are coming to you when they are, having a lot of difficulties. So it's an opportunity, to sort of, I would say, be the true friend a person would need. Okay? All right. Shifa. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Yes, inshallah. Yeah. Well, it is not like, in Malay proverbs that there is udang di sebalik batu. You're not becoming friends with people because you want to like ask them to join, like to be parts of Islam or whatever. But it's just that, when you know the good things, like if you see that your friends is like holding something that is burning, for sure that you want to keep them away from the danger, right? So, but if it's still not, it seems not be a danger for them, and then, the time comes,
And finally, Shifa, one more, after you have tried so hard, and that person is still not coming back to the straight path, you should have, you should say, okay, that is really not my department, that whether the person is going to have hidayah or not, your well, more or less, the what you can do is so limited, and hence you will leave it to Allah. He might not be, or she might not be coming back to the right path through you, maybe through somebody else, but it's still okay. It's still very okay. Okay, Shifa.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ha. Okay,
welcome.
now
You're most welcome. All right.
thank you, Dr. Ha, with all the answers. It's been 1 hour discussing.
And I guess for Shawwal, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we might not have it in the first week of May because it will clash with the. We might have it later on, but we will let you know. Everybody know. Okay, thank you, sisters. Thank you, Shifa.
Thank you, Dr. Ha.
Right, and may Allah bless us in this beautiful month of Ramadan. Okay.
Doakan kami semua, like keep praying for us, sentiasa dipermudahkan untuk berada di jalan yang lurus.
InsyaAllah, amin.
To be grounded, steadfast in this path.
Syifa balik ke raya?
Ikutkan hati nak balik, tapi insyaAllah lah, kita tengoklah usaha macam mana. Susah bila kerja ni. Kita doakan lah, like dah ni dah ibu memanggil-manggil lah nak balik. Kan.
Dah rindu dah, betul. Kak Syifa pun dia balik hari tu, so alhamdulillah hilang juga rindunya. So I think if you can, Syifa, just come home. I think it's so meaningful to see each other again, kan, after such a long day. Of course, we're still in the endemic stage. We're still not out of it. But at least we should slowly return, to that normalcy of having, our loved ones close to us, kan? So insyaAllah, Syifa. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.